What's up guys, this is jimmyduraide from the BluffTheSpot coaching team. Today I'll be making more of a fun video where I'm gonna be talking about 3 hands that I selected, which is some of my biggest spots played at 500 Zoom so far during the year. So we're gonna take a look at that, talk about it, and then also I'm gonna have a special announcement that I'll be making at the end of the video. So please make sure that you tune in until the end. Alright, so let's take a look into the 3 hands I selected. They're all gonna be around like 3K to 4.5K pots. So the first hand that I selected, we are actually on the button. We're sitting just under 300 big blinds deep, and it's gonna fold to us. So we open 2.5. We're gonna get 3-bet by solid regular, one of the more aggressive regulars in the pool as well. He's gonna 3-bet, and here, I mean, we can, like if we're 100 big blinds deep, this would get 4-bet at like a low frequency, but it's gonna be mostly a call. Once we get more deep, I kind of don't like starting to 4-bet these kind of hands because, I mean, we're mostly gonna flop like one pair type of hands, and when all the money will go in, we're always gonna be dominated because once we 4-bet, he's still gonna flat some hands like ace-king and ace-queen that like dominates us. So I prefer like starting to 4-bet hands that at least has like suitedness in it and that can make like strong flushes, so can make more than one pair type of hands. So like once we get deeper, I'm mostly gonna just call in these position with that particular hand. So that's what I do, I call, and we actually hit a really good flop. It's still a really good flop for him as well. He's gonna have all the really strong hand. He's gonna have queens and kings that we don't have. He's gonna have all the king queen off as well. He can even start 3-betting a hand like pocket 4 sometime, being this deep. But like this would be at a low frequency. I'm not sure if he does, but I mean, I don't discount it fully. I think he's going to be betting this board pretty aggressively as he did, so he c-bet fairly small. With our particular hand, I mean, we can do some raising, we can do some calling. I would prefer maybe having like the queen of clubs if I start raising, so we have a bit more equity when the turn are clubs. This time I elected to only call, which is fine as well. On this specific turn, I mean, for our actual hand, it's not a great turn. It's actually a turn that improves us and improves him quite well in the sense that like we both have ace-jack, we both have jack-9 suited, and we both have hands like pocket 10s, queen 10 suited, king 10 suited, because I expect him to bet his entire range on the flop. So for our actual hand, it's not a great turn because there's a lot of stuff that actually improve, like ace-jack, pocket 10, jack-9 suited. So yes, so I expect him to be being a bit more cautious with his one pair type of hand, especially this deep. And once I face a big bet here, I'm not looking to raise because I think he's gonna have a lot of really strong hands that actually got there on the turn, as well as some bluffs. But it's not like he's gonna be betting hands like king 9 suited there. He's mostly gonna be repping something like 2-pair plus on the turn, maybe a hand like ace-king as well. But he actually checks. So here, I mean, I'm not going to be betting wide. He's still going to have a strong checking range. He's still going to be checking hands like queen jack, jack 10, hands like king jack, or even hands like ace queen, ace king, those type of hands. So basically, it's not a spot where I can just bet like super wide and expect a lot of fold equity. Yes, he's going to have like give ups like ace deuce of spade that he's just going to check fold. But in general, it's gonna still be checking quite strong hands that I cannot just like bet small and get rid of them. So basically, once I bet here, I'm gonna be pretty polarized, so I should be sizing up. I kind of not a fan of my sizing. I think I should be betting bigger than that, so I should probably be betting something like 140 to 150, because my range is basically gonna be betting like really strong top pair or 2-pair plus, and then some bluffs. So that range wants to size up. Once we bet, he actually calls. Now the pot is 408. We have about 1.2k behind, and we hit, I mean, one of the best cards in the deck. We only lose now to pocket kings, which is great. So one combo, he checks again, and we go for regular like 3/4 spot sizing. I mean, we're still gonna be betting hands like trips. I mean, trips, I don't really bet a queen on the turn, so I don't have that many trips. So it's basically gonna be like full houses and straights. Maybe if I have a hand like ace king, I bet, but to be honest, he's gonna have a lot of queen X as well in his range that he's gonna be check calling. So I think we're gonna be still pretty polarized once we bet on the river here. But he actually goes for a check shove, which, I mean, in this particular case, we're super happy to see. I mean, we only lose to one combo, so it's a snap call. So I actually end up calling pretty fast, and he shows up with ace king. I mean, like, this is something that you don't see from a lot of players where, especially this deep, you know, like once you get to like 200, 300, 400 big blinds deep, people start to tighten up. In this particular case, I mean, he ran into basically the nuts, but like if so we had a super easy call, but like what if we bet with a hand like jack 9? What if we bet with a hand like ace jack? You know, like being this deep, people like under bluff severely. It's hard to find natural bluffs here that check calls, check shove, so he needs to be turning like some hands like this into a bluff. But I mean, if we don't have this type of hand, we get put into such a strong, into such a tough spot, especially this deep. So I really don't mind his hand choice. I mean, he blocks full houses, he blocks also the straight. Props to him, but unfortunately he runs into the nuts. So nice spot for me. Now let's take a look at the next hand. Next hand is the biggest spot I actually played, which happened here. It's about like a 4.8k pot. So we get to open pocket sevens on the button, and we get 3-bet by another regular of the 500 zoom, UKU. He 3-bets to a standard size, big blind versus button. I mean, this hand, we could start 4-betting at a low frequency being this deep, but I mean, I'm mostly going to be calling, which is what I did this time. We flop a really nice hand. I mean, we flop middle set. We're basically only losing to pocket nines, and he actually bets half pot. I like his sizing. And this time, I mean, we can call, we can raise. Again, like we could do both. It's a bit more draw heavy, this type of texture. Also, we're a bit deeper, so if I want to get stacks in, and I'm gonna have to put in a raise, so I decided to raise this time, and then he calls. Now we get to the turn 5. I mean, now, I mean, 8-6 suited gets there. Yes, he's gonna have some 8-6 suited that he's gonna play that way for sure. I mean, it really depends on his 3-betting range pre-flop. Does he really 3-bet 8-6 suited? I mean, maybe he does, maybe he don't. I have no idea. But like if he does, it's probably like at a lower frequency than 100% for sure. So we can discount some of the combos, but like he still can show up with a hand like this for sure. Once he checks, it's a pretty easy bet. I mean, we're gonna size up again. I mean, once we bet here, I don't want to size up too big because I still want to, like if I ever had a hand like pocket jacks that I called and then that raise for protection on the flop and then bet turn also to deny equity, I don't want to size up too big because I still want to be able to be betting those type of hands in my range. So I chose something like a 3/4 pot sizing, and he calls. So now the pot is already 1.2k with 1.8 behind, and then the river is a 10. Yes, you can have pocket 10s here for sure. What other hands get there? I mean, we lose to 8-6 pocket 10s. You can have a hand like pocket 9s, but like being this deep, does he really only call the flop or the turn? I could see him raising some turns as well. Also, maybe a hand like jack 8 suited, so the like jack 8 suited, jack 8 of clubs type of hand that can actually get there. But I mean, again, like, does he really 3-bet that To be honest, I have no idea. But I mean, if he does, it's at a really low frequency. I mean, I'm not really scared of that. I mean, the only hand that I'm basically afraid of is basically pocket tens. But I mean, we still have to bet on the river. So I chose like something, again, like a 2/3 to 3/4 pot sizing on the river, and he actually jammed, which was super gross at the time. I mean, yes, he does have pocket tens in his range. He can have pocket nines, but he's repping such few combos. So I ended up making the call here. I mean, like, especially we're about like just under 500 big blinds deep. Are really people able to make like those kind of bluff being this deep? I mean, it's hard to say. I would guess not. So I mean, bet folding here, I mean, would be like if we bet fold here, I mean, we're gonna have 8-6 suited. Do we really have pocket tens here? We can have pocket nines. We have 8-6. We can have a hand like Jack 8 of club ourselves. I think that kind of makes sense the way it was played, but I mean, even then, we're kind of like, if we start folding that, we're getting pretty exploitable. Also, the thing is that, like, are people really bluffing? I mean, especially this deep, it's hard to say yes, to be honest. Like, I would expect people to like don't have many bluffs, but again, he's repping so few combos that I thought that like if he actually starts to turn like some random like one pair hand into a bluff, you know, he could start doing that. But I mean, again, that's kind of optimistic. I mean, I have to call like 1100 into like a 3.7k pot. So I mean, I'm getting pretty good odds. So I ended up making the call, and he did show up with the pocket tens. And also, like, if we notice, he doesn't have a club in his hand, so he basically hit a one outer, because if the 10 of clubs gets there on the river, I'm just probably gonna be checking, you know, like or betting small and lose a lot less. I'm not gonna be bet calling the river if he like check jams or whatever, so I'm not gonna lose my whole stack. So he basically hit like a one outer to make sure that he gets all of my 450 big blinds. So I mean, that was the biggest spot I ever played, and unfortunately I was on the wrong side of it. Probably could have laid down this hand on the river. I'm really curious about you guys' opinion of what I should do on the river, so please feel free to leave some comments in the description below. Now let's move to the last hand I want to be covering. So we have ace-9 suited. We open under the gun, which is pretty standard. We get 3-bet by this guy. He's a regular, but he has a shorter stack, about 95 big blinds there. And we're gonna get a cold call from a recreational in the big blind. Against this guy, I would probably fold, but since we are pretty deep here, we get a pretty good price. We have some nut potential. I'm definitely going to be calling, because I mean, if we flop something great, we can win a huge pot off him. And we flop absolutely the dream. So we have open-ended nut flush draw with 1 over, and he actually donks for a big size. Here we can do two things. We can raise, start building a pot. We can also call, because this guy will still have a strong range. And if we call, we can just start jamming some overpairs as well and some other stuff. So this time I elected to call. I mean, I think both options are fine, but like if we call here and then he shoves, then we get him in a sandwich, and then we can just start piling the money in as well, which is a good thing to know with this specific hand. But this time I decided to actually call. I think both options are viable. And then unfortunately he folds, so we get to a turn. We get a pretty bad turn, to be honest. Now our straight outs are counterfeited, and he still bets pretty big. he still bets something like 2/3 spot. If we were a bit shallower, let's say like we're less than 100 big blinds deep, that type of stuff, I would probably have to fold here. But now since we are really deep, so we still have, like, once I call that, we still have 300 big blinds behind, and then I expected that I will have some good implied odds if I ever hit a heart on the river. Because I don't expect this guy to be folding a straight, or I mean, if he has a lower flush as well. So I ended up calling here. We hit the miracle river where we have the nuts, and he actually bets again, which is amazing. And we just end up shoving, and he literally snap called with ace jack of diamonds. So I mean, at least this spot, maybe I lost a 4.8k pot, but at least this spot went my way. Like I said on the turn, like, this is what I expected. I expected this guy, if we actually hit our hand, we will be winning a lot more money, which we did. So basically, this covers the 3 hands I wanted to share with you guys. If you guys have some thoughts, like I mentioned on the previous hands, please make sure that you drop it down and write in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to it. Also, I said at the beginning of the video that I will be making a special announcement, and BluffTheSpot is proud to announce that we'll be launching a new product called the BTS Lab. Basically what BTS Lab is that it's going to be a monthly subscription based product where you're gonna get 1 monthly live coaching with one of the BTS coaches, and everybody can join. Also, there will be multiple coaching videos that will be uploaded, and how it works is that we will be covering each month a specific topic. So during that month, all the coaching videos and the live coaching will be geared toward that specific topic. And then in the next month, we're going to choose another topic, and so on and so on. Also, you will have access to a community where you can exchange with like-minded poker players. You can also share some hands that will get answered by some of the BTS coaches. And also, that's a nice way of improving. So if you guys are interested in the BTS Lab and all the details around it, please make sure you click on the link in the description below. We also have a special promotion for this month, so make sure that, again, you click on the link in the description below and you will get all the details from the BTS Lab. If you have any comments, again, about the hands that we talked about, please make sure you drop them in the comment section, and I'll gladly go over them. So hopefully you guys have a good day. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.